All right, guys, check out the loaner vehicle I got. I had to take my car in to get some work, and this is the one the car they gave me. It's black. Makes me feel like Batman. I love it. I've had like a few days in a row just kind of blow up on me in terms of having unexpected things pop up, and my schedule just got even more crazy than it already was, and those unexpected things happen. I used to get really wigged out, stressed out about everything every time something would not go according to plan, and I was a total control freak. Now I'm only a tiny bit of a control freak, recovering or whatever you call it, but seriously, it's like such a matter of perspective, and that's so much of my work. And what I keep coming back to now is, how do we look at things? How do we view it? How do we internalize the reality of the situation? Because the reality of the situation is, I had some unexpected things come up that were tremendously time consuming, and just my schedule, which was already packed, now it's like I've got, a bunch of people I haven't emailed back in many days, and just things I need to attend to. But the fact of the matter is, you have to prioritize. That's just sort of the triage thing you get into sometimes, and you have to tackle what is most important and central to the mission that you're on. And so I've just been kind of grinding it out. But listen, it's perspective. I used to get in situations like this, and all I could think about was, oh my gosh, I was already behind schedule. Now I'm so behind. What am I going to do about it? Like, this shouldn't be happening. I've got all these people I have to return phone calls to, emails, get back to, connections, whatever, and just keep going through this mental cycle of getting myself more and more spun up, which then produces really negative emotions, which makes you more unresourceful, which makes you get less things done, which means you're more behind, and it's just a bad cycle, right? Can anybody relate to this? And what I've really learned to do is just put myself in a place where I say, you know what? Like, what's really awesome about this is the fact that I've got so much business that I can't keep up with it, and man, I'm just doing my best to keep up with it. But that's incredible, right? Like, that's a better spot to be in than nothing's going on and like nobody's calling me and nobody needs any help with these things. And so that's, first of all, a good position to be in, and like that's sort of what I focus on from a perspective, is that, and the fact that like it could be stressful or it could kind of be exciting, right? Because stress can go different ways depending on how you represent it to yourself. And so I've really learned to represent things to myself like, this is really pretty exciting. Like, how am I going to get through this and grind it out, and not just get through this, but like experience the adventure and the excitement, and it's like the wonder of how I'm going to like walk through it. And there's some excitement behind something like that versus the whole, oh my God, I'm so behind, what am I going to do? This is terrible kind of approach. And either way, the reality, the outside reality of the circumstance is the same, but the internal reality is entirely up to me, and how I represent the reality to myself internally is going to affect the reality in the external. And so I think that is probably something a lot of you can relate to, so I wanted to put it out there. Okay, so I'll narrate so you can have it on me momentarily. So Zoe's in for dog aggression issues, fighting with the other dog in the home. There was damage, so it was fairly significant altercations, needed pretty significant vetting, and we're trying to establish is what her social baseline is, versus was it just a personality conflict in the home. That's going to give us what we need to know about her. So yesterday was her first day in playgroup. She did fairly well. She seemed a little bit threatening to some of the other dogs, and I couldn't tell if she just felt a little bit defensive and was trying to establish something. So we are on playgroup number 2. Good girl, Zoe! and she seems very, very, very sensitive to handlers. So we'll kind of see where things go.
I mean, Oscar, he's more neurotic than like
Yeah. Right, so it's interesting. It's interesting that now she wants to correct him.
Energy's too high now.
Yep. Here's Miss Zoe. Doing a whole bunch of nothing with some dogs. Yay. She's very stoic.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Tell me how you feel. This reminds me of those movies that are really artistic. That are like 2.5, 3 hours long. Forgiveness is an act of consciousness. Oh! What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, and just headed in, have an appointment with a client here in a little bit, so enjoying the drive in. And I gotta tell you that laughter and joy, these types of emotions, they're so critical, aren't they? They're so key because they can totally change the tone of a day, the tone of a moment, the trajectory of the day or a moment, and we shouldn't underestimate that. You know, it's like if you go a day without laughing multiple times, like something needs to change. You need to go. I was gonna say go to Blockbuster. Yes, actually, that would be funny. Definitely go to Blockbuster to rent a video, and you know, give me a call when you're done with that. It might take a little while, but no, watch a funny movie, like put something on. You know, it takes effort sometimes to be in a good spot emotionally and to enjoy yourself. There's also the truest, purest forms of beautiful emotions, I believe, are things that just happen naturally, when you're in a state of grace. But there's plenty of times where you really just need to set the tone for yourself and for your day, and pick yourself up. So, hey, if you're in a place where you can do it right now, I give you total permission to laugh hysterically, to just that's not how I normally laugh, right? But you know, just stupid little things like that. If you're in the car right now by yourself, or even if you're not and you're gutsy enough to do it, just have a laugh with the people that are around you. Enjoy yourself, please. I mean, you know, you could get hit by a truck a few minutes from now, and so you might as well laugh on your way out, or some such nonsense. So anyway, love you guys. I know there were some really deep insights in that, and I really do wish the most wonderful day for you, a day full of joy and laughter and guffaws and hilariousness. And anyway, guys, take care. Weekend's coming up here, so hope you have a great one. Love you. We'll talk to you soon. One of my favorite sayings ever. Fortune favors the bold. I love that. All right, guys, check out the loaner vehicle I got. I had to take my car in to get some work, and this is the one the car they gave me. It's black. Makes me feel like Batman. I love it.
Let's go. Turn up the music 'cause the song just came on. Here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Turn up the music if they try to turn us down.
Good morning, vlog. Afternoon or evening, I guess, depending on when you're watching this. Had a couple things that I've been thinking about the last couple days in particular, and the first one popped up for me, and I think it was something I said as I was it might be on the last vlog as well, but it was just more of a passing comment at that time. I said, the swim meet or whatever, that it was in the books. And it got me thinking about, it's basically in the history books, right? And how much focus and attention that we tend to give to things we consider larger, important, quote, important events that we have in our lives. And we put so much energy there on the event itself. And I was thinking about, like, my gosh, every day that we're living our lives is going in the books. It's going in the history books. And I feel like if we think of each day, right, because we're going to have certainly longer term things that we're aspiring to, that we're shooting for, that we're moving toward, but it's the daily activities and actions that get us closer to those things or farther away, where we're drifting off course. And what if we just thought of every day that way? Like, today is going to be in the history books tonight, right? Like, when it's all said and done, it's going in the history books. A day of my life is done, and what have I done with it? And if we put some more, and not to pressure cook ourselves or do something that's going to create, all this stress, but if you look at it as like, God, I have this opportunity to put this in the history books, to put today in the history books, and being true to who I am and what I believe and what I aspire to be and becoming, and am I living my life that way? When it goes in the history books tonight, I'm like, yes, that feels fantastic. And that's what I would wish for each and every one of you, for myself, for everybody, is if we could look at it that way every day as being not just important and precious, but it's going in the history books. And if that helps you think of it a different way and put a different perspective and emphasis that's going to cause you to act and be your best self, man, I think that's the way to go about it.
I'm at a payphone. The sun goes down, the stars come out. Where are the times gone? My universe will never be the same. Pop Danthology.
All right, thought number 2. You ready for it? I get really tired of parents telling their kids that they can be anything that they want to be. I think that is one of the worst things you can possibly tell a child. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with that, which I'm fine with, but hear me out on this. You can't be anything that you want to be. That's a huge disservice. What it does is it gives kids, and even like as adults, when people are running around saying like, wow, you can be anything you want to be if you just work hard enough at it, and yada, yada, yada. And I just think it's a load of crap. I don't think it's true at all. I think what serves people is saying there's something, a blending of talents and abilities and gifts that you have that nobody else has them in that exact combination, that order, that mix that makes you have some special abilities and that's crazy. I don't know if you could see that. That was a semi that got turned over on I-25 yesterday with the winds we had. I think we had like 85, 90 mile per hour gusts up in this part of Colorado. So it was a wild, wild day. It was like a sandstorm. It was bizarre. But getting back to, you can be anything you want to be. It's not true. You can be anything you have the capacity to become. And we don't all have the same capacities, right? So I might decide I'm going to be the best, like, I don't know, pole vaulter of all times, but that may be completely outside of my genetic potential. It may not be something that I have the particular mindset for. It may not be something that I could ever get driven enough toward to actually reach that. Even if I put in tons and tons and tons of work, it might not happen. And so I really feel strongly about this. I think what's important is helping people find what they were designed to do, or things that they have the capacity to perform at high levels so they can actually feel good about themselves, not feel warm and fuzzy for the moment because mom and dad told them that they could be anything they want to be, and then life kicks them in the teeth for the next 42 years, and then they end up getting upset with their parents because they realize it was a load. And I think that I don't think people say that to be, it's certainly not to be dishonest, it's to be encouraging. And so I think that it's coming from a genuine, good, caring, loving place. But it is profoundly misguided, in my opinion, to tell somebody they can be anything they want to be. They can be anything they were created and gifted and talented to become if they are willing to put in the work and do what it takes. But I think we have to have a balanced perspective on that. I think you can become anything you want to be if it's in line with your design.